Hier. Was?
Möchten Sie sich hinsetzen?
Wer?
Sie, mein Herr, möchten Sie sich setzen?
Was?
Hinsetzen?
Habe ich es getroffen?
Sie haben etwas getroffen, mein Herr.
Was?
Aber Sie haben sich vielleicht das Ohr verletzt.
Wer?
Ihr Ohr, mein Herr. Die Waffe war vielleicht zu nah in Ihrem Ohr.
Ich habe es am Ohr getroffen? Was ist? Ist es ein Bär? Oh nein, du tust es nicht. Das ist meins. Stop it. Geh, beweg dich. Halt ihn fest. Halt ihn, damit ich ihn fest binden kann. Auch keine Marine Corps. Bring ihn zurück in Nickdom. Halt ihn nur weg.
So the gentleman struggling to uncoil the rope is King George the First, otherwise known as the man who wouldn't be king. So George spent the first 54 years of his life in Bavarian beer-soaked bliss, until one day he woke up, inherited the British crown, and traded his beloved Deutschland for a soggy island that gave him migraines and hemorrhoids. Or so he believed. So why George? Well, because when Queen Anne died, he was the closest living relative who made the cut, with two superb qualifications. One, he wasn't Catholic, and two, he hated the French. So George packed up his moody self, he moved to St. James Palace, he never learned that much English, and he spent the entirety of his reign scheming on ways to get back to Hanover. It was on one of these holidays that he and childhood buddy Herr Kurtz stumbled across the poor creature you currently see being subdued. That's Peter. Peter the Wild Boy, a local legend who couldn't be persuaded to give up his life in the trees.
Have you had chicken pox?
I first heard about the Wild Boy at a used book fair in Wales.
Paul.
How had I never heard this story before? Peter was a celebrity. He turned the court of King George into an 18th century reality show.
Am I supposed to know this? I don't keep track of your childhood diseases.
This misunderstood stranger, who lurched down the halls of more than one palace, haunted the depths of romanticism, zoology, even the theory of evolution.
They just called us.
What?
Could you close the book, sweetie, and give me a hand here?
Sorry. I didn't hear them call her name.
Yeah, I know. You probably didn't hear what I called you either. In my head.
I had chickenpox once when I was 5. It lives in your body forever. It's a form of herpes.
Oh, now you tell me.
That's not really something you bring up on the first date.
And yet you had no problem bringing up the Peloponnesian Wars at a Jack in the Box.
That was our second date.
Hi, are you Dr. Ralph?
I am. Hello, Morgan. Nice train you've got there, young man. Please come in. So, are we here for something specific, or?
Checked up, he's healthy.
Morgan hasn't been here since we moved back.
Oh, from?
Wales, small town.
But you're American.
What? Yeah, my parents, though, they're English. They moved here before I was born.
Honey, let's not play with that. That's what the doctor uses to check your ears. Morgan.
What were you guys doing in Wales?
Research for a book.
Sweet pea, put it back. Why don't you play with Curious George? Should we bring Curious George? Please say yes.
We moved there with the intention of staying for a while. Came very close to buying this pub and turning it into a house.
Oh my god, it was incredibly romantic. Very storybook. Morgan, sit still.
I did a semester in London. I liked it, but you start missing the little things you take for granted.
Sure, mostly water pressure.
Oh my god, every place we lived, the water never pressed. It mostly sucked.
Hey, Morgan, can you open your mouth for me? Stick out your tongue. Morgan, say ah.
Honey, can we stick out our tongue for the doctor? Morgan? Why don't you play with Big Bird?
Come on, big guy, it won't hurt. I promise.
I did a bike trip through the Lake District.
Wow, that must have been amazing.
Oh, damn, I caught bronchitis. Is Morgan your only child?
Yes.
Oh, and how's his hearing?
Great. He can hear me unwrap a popsicle from like 2 rooms away.
What brought you to Portland?
Teaching position at PSU. It's a nonfiction writing course.
But they'll probably give him more. Paul's also a historian and a writer.
You know, we never made it to the Lake District. Once we settled in Hay-on-Wye,
It's this small little market town with like 30 bookstores and 1,000
1900.
people. We chose it because it's on the river near the mountains, and Paul thought he wanted to be close to nature.
I was wrong. It turns out I want to be close to escalators.
Has Morgan ever been tested for any developmental delays?
What?
What kind of delays?
Well, he hasn't said a word since we've come in here. him in the hall. He hasn't made eye contact once, and he didn't react when I shook a toy.
Well, he's just a very secure child. He's not interested in you or your bunny.
No offense.
Hey, Morgan, would you like a sticker? Look, I have red and gold. Hey, Morgan, look.
If he's focused on something, it doesn't matter what you have. He interacts, but only when he feels like it.
Does he use any language with you?
He's fascinated by language. He learned the alphabet when he was, what, like 14 months?
He can talk, he just chooses not to. He doesn't ask for things that way.
Does he respond to any simple commands? Does he respond
No.
to any...
No. Not as,
He understands us and we understand him. I mean, he is playful and he's
I
healthy.
think he should be tested.
For
There may be a cognitive disability, and the sooner you intervene, the better. Right this way.
Don't come any closer.
Why?
Leave the blanket there.
Come all this way and not see what you trapped.
This is not for your eyes, madam.
You think I've never seen a naked man before? What do you think I do for His Majesty? Under his whip? Oh, my.
Well,
Your Majesty.
he refuses to eat, sir, or sit in a chair or walk on 2 feet.
One of them may be broken.
He wouldn't let the doctor near him. He may be infested with fleas. He scratches himself constantly, mostly back here as if he were looking for his tail.
Oh, sounds familiar.
What about this shirt collar?
How do you mean, sir?
He clearly wore clothes at some point. Somebody dressed him.
But no one has ever claimed him as family. His name was given to him by strangers in Hamelin.
They knew he was living like that.
They say a farmer found the boy in his field, sucking on the teat of a cow. He lured him inside with an onion and then tried to civilize the boy.
With an onion.
Couldn't teach him a thing. Concluded he must have been an idiot child left in the world to die.
He tried to bribe him into giving up his freedom for an onion,
He was a poor farmer, sir.
who may have been in no position to call anyone else an idiot. An idiot isn't able to survive in a forest by his wits' cords. Years in the wilderness may have silenced this boy's tongue, not the lack of intelligence.
Maybe he wandered into the woods when he was a babe and never found his way out.
He could be the sole survivor of some family tragedy, sir.
Maybe he killed his family
A fire!
and ate them.
A plague!
Or maybe he fell from the sky.
Have you tried speaking to him, madam? Here. Ask Peter who once gave him the shirt that was once attached to this.
Me? Why me?
Why not? He may respond to you. Most of the savages I know speak English quite well.
But this savage hails from your neck of the woods, Your Majesty, not mine.
Insolent little tart.
And that's what you ordered.
Watch your mouth.
Oh, watch where you asked me to put it.
Do you understand her?
Every as a bird, you?
Less.
Well then, I shall say good night.
Don't stay. You will sleep tomorrow on the boat.
Tomorrow, we leave tomorrow.
Oh, without a head for your wall.
I may bring back something far more exciting.
Sir, you want to bring this creature back to London?
Why not? Gives those Englishmen something to mock besides their king. He'd be a breath of fresh air in the palace, wouldn't he?
Indeed. I bet the King of France keeps a two-headed horse.
Your Majesties, this is most unwise.
Why? I have slightly more to offer him than an onion.
On the open sea, with a primitive beast, he could become angry or violent.
A good lieutenant for enemy ships.
He could spread disease.
I'm heartier than I look.
The journey is treacherous. Better to find smaller animals that would take up less room. What can I do to dissuade you, sir?
Trim his hair and give him a bow. And tell him what a lucky, lucky boy he is. Good night, Peter.
So what now?
We need light bulbs and batteries.
Do you think we should have him tested?
To see if he's a genius? We can't. I read you have to wait till he's closer to 5.
No, I meant for other things.
Paul, she spent a total of 8 minutes with him.
Jen.
Don't you think his parents have a little more insight than a stranger that comes recommended by the university's HMO guy?
She was just suggesting a second opinion.
And she got one from his father and a third from his mother.
I thought you were going to hit her.
Oh, I would have, but she had needles.
You had Big Bird.
I mean, please. Judging any kid's behavior in that setting. Any sensitive kid who knows he's about to get
Jen,
a shot.
Dr. Rapp has a frame of reference that we
Hands are
don't
like
have.
icicles. What frame of reference?
She sees a dozen kids a day. We see one.
Did she speak to Mark?
Yeah, he's taking him to the park after lunch.
Let's get off at the next stop.
Why?
Because we need light bulbs and batteries. No, you know what? I don't want to wake him. I'll get them later.
She didn't blink much, did she?
Who?
Dr. Raptile.
I am telling you, there was no blood in her hands. It was like shaking a doorknob with fingernails.
Oh, shit. I think we need batteries.
I just told you that.
You did?
Maybe we needed to tell the doctor that Morgan may have inherited his daddy's selective hearing.
What's wrong with your hearing?
They thought I was deaf when I was a kid, Mom. You know this.
Oh, I don't recall anything being wrong with your ears.
I know, but they tested me like a million times.
Tested you.
You know this. Why don't you remember anything?
Oh, school was a difficult adjustment for you, Paul, but it was nothing you could never
Oh,
handle.
Yeah. God, I know. But school was hell. People talking, bells ringing, people shouting. Tuning out was the only way I could cope.
Oh, but you were never deaf, dear.
I never said I was deaf.
You are when you want to be.
What did she say?
She means when I work, I go into a zone. Hours go by, I don't hear anything. When someone talks to me, it's like they're shaking me awake.
Oh, dear.
What?
Well, you just described me.
You know, they test kids so they can slap a label on them, and once it's there, it's really hard to peel off.
Well, what if they label him Einstein? I wouldn't peel that off.
They're not testing him for intelligence, Paul. She's telling us he's delayed.
Jen.
We left the house this morning with a perfectly happy little boy, and now we are looking at him like he's got some issue.
Relax, we don't have to do anything.
All kids mature at their own pace. Let's ask your mother when you started
Okay,
talking.
let's not.
Why?
Because I don't trust her mental bookkeeping, that's why. She's losing it. Her mental trains of thought have no cabooses.
Well, I'm telling you, he is the same kid he was at breakfast. The same. This is us.
It's a trap.
Breathe.
Inviting us here. All this secrecy and rumblings about bringing back a precious gift from the motherland.
I don't believe His Majesty would orchestrate such a spectacle if all he were presenting was a head cheese. Wipe.
What?
Foaming.
It's been nearly 7 years since we set eyes on him.
8. I can tell you exactly what Frederick was wearing. It was August.
September.
The tears, the color in his cheeks, the sunlight in his hair.
He's no longer a boy, madam. We've been robbed of those years, thanks to His Majesty.
George, do you fear our own son won't recognize us?
Why should he? He's been raised by servants and bodyguards. What kind of food is this?
Well, that would be an onion, sir.
Don't patronize me, madam. I know an onion when I see it. The question is, why is an onion pretending to be an apple? It's a trap.
It would behoove us all, sir, if we could be in a less bilious temper. Your father is making an overture.
The last time we were here, he threw us out, turned the house on us.
How's this day, son? One foot in front of the other. You can do it. Let the hands hang at your sides. You'll need them for other things, like scratching. Ah, there they are. Let's meet the Prince and Princess of Wales. George, Caroline, say hello to the highlights of my trip. Peter, this is my son and his fetching bite. And by all means, eat.
Who would this be, sir?
This is Peter, the violet boy.
This is the gift. The reason you asked us here.
George.
Before you level your weapon, Brutus, perhaps you should know there is more to our honored guest than meets the eye.
I told you. A trap. He only traffics in cruelty.
George, sit down. Sit! Your Highness, forgive our shock and dismay. We had hoped that it was our son who would be in your
Frederick?
company.
Why was I bring Frederick here?
Oh,
Because his parents are here, his younger siblings, his...
My grandson needs to stay in Hanover to ensure that our family is properly represented. Would you like to take Peter for a walk?
Oh,
Here.
no.
You must hold him very tight. We don't want to be chasing this one around the palace. He can outrun the bend.
he brought this monkey here to insult us.
What is your intention, sir? Did you bring this person here merely to amuse?
Or have you promised him the throne?
George, eat something.
Peter is a remarkable young man, but a stranger to civilization. He just needs a little instruction.
I can't watch this.
First, we shall have the boy baptized, and then I shall place him in the care of Dr. Arbuthnot.
Does he even know where he is?
I can't say, but then neither can he. Our friend here needs language. Language is what makes us human, and the fear of God is what gives us a soul.
And you believe that Peter, is it? You believe he has the capacity to...
After 4 weeks on a ship with him, madam, I believe he is the cutest human being I have ever met. A blank page, waiting to be inscribed upon.
Oh! No, you believe it!
Step back, you steaming turd. You are no match for a wild boy. Fear not, madam. He is driven by curiosity, not malice.
Has he never seen a glove? A pocket watch? An act of kindness?
Evidently not. We have much to teach him, and even more to learn. George, why don't you fetch the tailor? Tell him I want our guest here to have a suit made for him. Green velvet. You like that, wouldn't you, my boy?
Fetch him yourself. I'm not your footman.
Having a child forces you to retrace the steps of things you'd forgotten you'd learned. How to tie a shoe, how to zip a zipper, how to stare at a kitchen utensil so intently that it becomes a completely abstract object. Morgan's current favorite toy is our vegetable steamer. I don't know, maybe he thinks it's some kind of giant perforated flower, something the Iron Giant might wear in his lapel.
Something special? Who could it be? The gods to be for you and me.
Sweet pea, do you want a push? Do you want mommy to give you a push? Okay, that's fine. You do it yourself, honey. You do it all yourself.
Sorry, I'm late. Blame the city of Portland for hiring freaks to work in their libraries.
Everything okay?
I came this close to punching a 70-year-old woman who accused me of defacing an art book.
What?
Like I've got nothing better to do than draw nipples on the Virgin Mary.
God, that would be a very big fine. Did you?
Ha ha ha. What are you doing? Go, you're off the clock. We can catch up when I bring him home. Why so much food?
I thought I'd stay and have lunch with you guys, if that's okay.
Something special?
Someone needs a push.
Mark.
What are you doing?
You're the only one he lets do that.
Push him?
Whenever caller I try, he gets all swirly.
Of course he does. You're his parents. I'm the manny. You're not allowed to shove your own kid until he's 18.
You're not the manny.
Fine, I'm the uncle who cashes your checks. Better? Is this like salad?
Does he ever play with anyone else when you bring him here?
Why would he? He's got me. What, is that a question on Dr. Raptile's checklist? Jane, please, get another doctor. Next thing you know, she'll want to medicate him. I heard on NPR last night that they are now giving antidepressants to preschoolers. Unbelievable. When we were kids, you could make a friend if your lunchbox had a ding-dong in it. Now you've got to trade a Zoloft for a Klonopin.
So you don't think there's something wrong with him?
Morgan? No. He's sensitive, that's all. He just feels too much.
You know, he won't let me cut his hair anymore. I have to trim it when he's asleep.
He's unique.
He won't go near the potty we bought him, and changing his diaper is like an advanced spinning class.
It's a phase. Boys like to hold on to their shit. That's why I still own everything ever recorded by Anne Murray.
Marcus, stop. I'm serious. If I'm not doing everything I can to help him, then I...
Help him what? Okay. My parents helped me by sending me to baseball camp. Yeah, they were convinced that there was some normal kid trapped inside me, waiting to be released. They're still waiting. And the only thing that came out of baseball camp was me.
Everything he does now, things that were cute and quirky, everything now. He bounces on the bed and I'm like, oh fuck, what is that? Is he stimming?
Is he what?
Stimming, it's short for self-stimulation, means self-regulatory behavior.
Where did you get that from?
I don't know, the internet?
God, what were you Googling? Jennifer, think about who we knew in art school. The most talented people were way beyond quirky. Larry What's-His-Face, that guy that carved a 6-foot Homer Simpson out of butter. He's living on a 2013 MacArthur Genius Grant on an island that he bought.
You know, a part of me wonders if I want a second kid.
A second kid? You didn't tell me you and Paul were trying.
No, we're not. That would take 2 of us, and Paul's got his Wild Boy book and a deadline.
Wait, so you want a second?
No, I just want a yard. You know, someplace where Morgan can lie on his back and look up at the sky.
He can do that here. It's a public park. We pay taxes. Well, you do.
Alright, Morgan. We're all gonna get clean. You, me, and Mr. Doug. It'll be real fast, I promise. The water's not hot, Morgan. I promise. Showers feel nice. It's like rain, only inside. Look. Look, it's raining in our bathtub. Come on. Hey! Morgan, stop. No biting. And no scratching either. Now, come on, let's do this real fast. Ow, shit.
Hold still. You blockhead, you'll rip the sea! I'm gonna play nice. Please, please.
Well, isn't he dressed yet? We only have minutes. What's all the fuss then?
Fuss. I have been up all night stitching this, and nobody mentioned that I'd have to put him in it too. It's a bloody disaster.
You're too rough with him, Mr. Trout.
Am I? Go ahead, madam, jump in. It's like cuddling a rose bush.
Well, what's he so terrified of then?
Perhaps now that he's here, he's not sure he wants the job.
What job?
Looking as His Majesty's little squealer, collecting what he can to purge the palace.
Purges of what?
Us. Mark my words, they'll be speaking nothing but German around here soon enough. We are days away from being replaced by a herd of Teutonic toadies.
My, you have worked yourself into a frenzy. Seems to me we need a stronger reason to come to bed, Mr. Trout. Where's your poker? For the fire, sir. The fire. I hear our furry little friend here is tamed by the flames.
You'll have to burn what's left of the Holy Roman Empire to get that jacket on him.
Trout. Patience.
We all know you're far better at undressing your subjects.
Hold your tongue. I tell you he's a snitch.
He's a boot scraper.
He can speak.
Oh, can he then? Have you ever heard this creature utter a single word? What are you doing? Mr. Trout?
Step aside, let the poor lad speak for himself.
Give that to me, you fool! You'd better hope that he can't. If the king wants to bring this idiot around the halls and make himself look like a bigger one, oh, for God's sake, let him. The sooner they realize His Majesty's gone soft in the head, the sooner my mistress becomes queen. And the sooner you can take advantage of having a friend with a much better title.
I'd like to take advantage of her right now.
What's stopping you? Boot scraper.
Is he asleep?
He's asleep.
How many books?
One, but we read it at least 10 times. Or 11, or 20, I lost track.
Is that blood?
What?
There's dried blood on the back of your shirt. Oh my god, what is this from? How did you scratch yourself like this?
Battle scars from our shower.
Morgan did this to you.
What was I supposed to do? Trimming his nails on the same night as a shower would have been insane.
He really hurt you.
I'm fine. And if the teaching dries up, I can always give shampoos at a cat hospital.
Take this off. Let me clean you up. Take it off.
I heard back from the guy at Kensington Palace. They gave me permission to go, but I have to go sooner than later. They're closing for renovations.
To London?
Yeah,
How long would you be gone?
I don't know, like a week. I've been talking to this guy in Oxford too. He's written like 5 or 6 books on George's 1 and 2. That was one fucked up family.
Oh, really? You mean keeping a human being as a pet didn't make Christmas any cozier?
Well, it's still unclear as to whether he bonded them or drove them further apart, but still. Can you handle it? Me being gone that long?
Of course, no showers. Sorry, hold still.
Hey, what were you reading?
I wasn't reading.
What's this?
Oh, that. I printed out something from this place. It's like a clinic or a special school where they, you know.
Test kids? How'd you find it?
I called Dr. Raptile.
You called her?
I didn't speak to her. I would have needed a cocktail at 10 a.m. for that.
When was this?
I don't know, yesterday, day before. Why?
Well, you didn't want me to know?
It wasn't a secret. It was just that I needed to know more about this place before we, you know, whatever.
Okay, so what now? You want to have them?
I don't know. I don't want him to be an only child. I read that if we have a girl, there's only like a 12% chance that she'd have, similar issues.
Oh, great. So then when they shower together, they can play tic-tac-toe on the grid he's scratched into her chest.
Paul, I really...
We can get her a teeny-weeny suit of armor, or a water-friendly burqa, something with a hole so small you can't poke a jagged nail through
Stop it. I'm serious. The statistics for it happening twice in one
Statistics.
family are incredibly low.
Statistics. Jennifer, what's happening twice? He hasn't even been tested yet.
No, I know. I think he's fine, but if it turns out that maybe he's, different.
Can we throw everything into making him the next Isaac Newton, or Alan Turing?
Who?
He's a British decoder. He created one of the first modern computers. People now think he had Asperger's. It's a mild form of...
Oh, I see. I'm not allowed to read this stuff, but you are.
Jennifer, what if that's who he is? This morning, Morgan sat at the piano and flunked out that Hagleytown Hero song.
12% is a pretty small risk,
He
don't
might
you
have
think? And the
perfect
numbers
pitch.
don't even change that much if it's a boy.
Look, can we not have this conversation right now? I'm tired. I had a long day. Let me get some sleep.
I called that clinic. We have an appointment on Monday. Does that work for you? Paul, will you be here or in London?
What? No, I'm here.
They tell me that you prefer the floor to your bed. Well then, whatever makes you comfortable, so be it. You may never feel entirely comfortable on this island, my boy. 12 years, I am still bargaining if my clothes will ever dry out. On sleep? Who can sleep in this place? The doors creak, the balls groan, the rain drums all night long, like footsteps of an approaching army. I have not slept in years. I'm thinking I'd like to send you to a proper school, Peter. They tell me that Harrow is the finest in the kingdom, my kingdom. Your presence will be most welcome there, and you will flourish, so long as you don't expect vaunt and honesty in their lesson plan. They are a tricky bunch, these natives. King or crook, they'll chop off your heads the first chance they get, and then write a merry song to teach their sickly little children. But this is why they need you, my boy. You are more than a noble experiment. You are a beacon of innocence in a corrupt, duplicitous world. Finding you in those woods, this was a sign from God. You mustn't be afraid of what is before you, my boy. So long as you know who you are and who they are, you will be safe. Or you would at least learn how to sleep with your eyes open. I have. How lucky for me to find someone who understands that. You may look me in the eye, Peter. You, of all people, you may look me in the eye.
I feel like he'd do better if he didn't see us watching him.
It's a one-way window, honey. He can't see us.
He knows. I bought a ticket. British Air had this great deal on their website.
When do you leave?
There's some flexibility so long as I fly by a certain
When do you
date.
leave?
Jen, believe me, I wish I could take you and Morgan with me.
We can't afford it. Besides, we may have to enroll him in a program here.
I won't be gone that long.
We'll be fine.
But I don't have to go.
It's research. You've got deadlines.
There's plenty I can do from home. I can interview by phone.
We'll be fine, Paul. If you have to go, you have to go.
Hey, be right with you guys. Would you mind being over there by the aquarium? Thanks so much. Mr. and Mrs. Collins?
Yeah. Jennifer, Paul.
So how do you do?
Pretty well. If you look at these charts, you'll see that his cognitive skills are fairly high. More like those of a 4 or 5-year-old.
That was our hunch.
But in the non-cognitive areas, we start to see some different scores.
Is a 9 high or low?
It's fairly low, but keep in mind, percentile is not the same as percentage.
We know the difference.
He gets a little competitive when he sees numbers.
I'm not competitive. Who are we competing with?
Can we take a copy of this with us?
Sure.
Thank you.
From what I observed, beyond the expressive language disorder, I would say that Morgan's experiences are pretty much unconnected.
In what way?
Well, it's like a series of sensory impressions that don't quite add up to make a pattern.
But you can help him.
Yeah, with applied behavior analysis, we can train him to negotiate everyday life with less trauma and drop the look odd behavior. The goal here is to ultimately help him be mainstreamed into public school.
That entails what? Coming here a few hours a week?
It'll be more than a few hours, Mr. Collins. Morgan's not...
Not what?
He's a complex little guy. I mean, he more than likely falls on the high end of the spectrum,
Whoa,
but
whoa, whoa. I thought you said these scores were high.
there are going to be issues for him. He's probably going to find easy things difficult and difficult things easy.
I'm sorry, what does this number mean?
They put 2 dolls in front of him. Morgan, this is Sally, and this is Anne. They have a basket and a box in front of them. Sally takes a marble and puts it into the basket and then leaves the room. Now while Sally's gone, Anne takes the marble out of the basket and puts it into the box. Now when Sally comes back into the room, the tester asks my son, where will Sally look for the marble? A typical 3-year-old will point to the basket. I mean, Sally doesn't know the marble's been moved, right? Kids with
autism.
If they can answer it all, we'll point to the box. They can't distinguish between their minds and the minds of other people's. They can't imagine that Sally doesn't know what they know. When somebody can't tell that another person's motives are different from their own, another concept disappears. Deception. They can't see it, even when it's right in front of them. Morgan pointed to the box. Again, and again, and again. So before he was carted off to boarding school, Peter was visited by a raft of intellectuals. Jonathan Swift, Daniel Defoe, Alexander Pope, they all met with Peter and they wrote about this savage in the green velvet suit. And Peter became this mirror held up to the great minds of his time, reflecting all of their thoughts and actions and revealing none of his own. All who gazed at Peter learned a little bit something more about what it meant to be human.
He's not.
There were some back then who believed, and some who would still believe that without language, we're not human.
You better go in there. Paul, he's climbing on the bookcase.
Oh, he's fine. The monitor has their eye on him. A lot of the kids we work with here are daredevils.
God, Morgan has always been a climber. He found a way on top of our piano.
So wild, isn't it? To be so full of social fears and yet have no concept of physical danger. A lot of them have exceptionally good balance and head for height.
A lot of who?
Kids with autism.
Sometimes when Morgan falls and hurts himself, he doesn't cry out right away.
No, I get it. Some of the kids here will lie real still and wait until the pain passes. I've seen children curl up on the rug and sweat it out like animals.
So, are there more tests, or did we learn everything we needed to in a few hours?
Ivy's given us a box of flashcards, pictures with words on them.
To work on Morgan's language skills. And the DVD, which you should watch before you come back.
More words?
Mostly faces. It's called the Library of Human Emotions.
Are there some I haven't met yet?
We'll also need to schedule an appointment with the social worker. In order to qualify for disability services, a county social worker needs to do a brief home study.
Oh,
Someone just needs to observe Morgan in his home environment. Is that going to be okay?
Sure. Gives us an excuse to get rid of his cage, right?
Peter, come down, please, before you fall to your death. Oh, bloody hell. Did the other students taunt you? Tell me the crime and I'll punish the little cretins. I enjoy punishing them. Sir, may I have a word with you?
Not now.
But sir,
What is it?
Peter, he ran from my classroom and sequestered himself in our tallest tree.
I haven't time for your petty problems. Cane the lad.
But you told me I was never to touch a hair on his woolly head.
Whom are we talking about?
Peter, the wild boy. The wild boy.
Good heavens! Does he already know?
Know what, sir?
His Majesty, he's dead.
King George.
Collapsed on the way back from another hunting trip. Perhaps he knew before the rest of us.
What's this word, Morgan? Come on, little man, you know this one, just say it. Who loves you? Your daddy, that too. The password is tree. You know what a tree is, don't you?
hey.
Hey, Mommy.
Hi, sweetie.
Ooh, flowers. What are you trying to do? Charm some poor social worker into thinking there's still romance in our house?
They're a distraction. I thought if we put them in our nice vase, they'd hide the swastika carved into our kitchen table.
That's not a swastika, Fraulein. That's a map to the zoo, the park, and the library. birthed by your very talented yet word-loading son.
How's it going?
What's that?
So I passed this sweet yellow house like 4 houses down from Whole Foods. You've seen it before, but they painted it and it looks like $1 million and they are selling it for much less.
Would have to be much, much less.
There's an open house on Sunday, 3 bedrooms. The garage has a studio above it. It's perfect for you. And I could paint in this little den off the kitchen.
Oh, so you've been inside?
No one's living there. The curtains were open, so I just walked around the back and
Broke in.
only for like 2 seconds. I didn't even open the drawer. I wanted to wait for you.
Because breaking and entering is a team sport?
No, it's perfect for us, Paul. Nice grassy yard, room to grow. Promise you'll go with me on Sunday, just to educate
Okay.
ourselves,
Okay, I'll go.
please.
I'll go.
Are you nervous about this home study thing?
Well, I've done everything I could to tire him out so he's not pinballing off the furniture.
How are we going to introduce him to Morgan?
Jen, he's 3. He's not going to read her business card. Just pray he doesn't need it. Hey, how do we know these people?
From the center, when Morgan was tested, they walked in.
Okay, that was weird.
She did the same thing at the center.
She's either painfully shy or she got some really discount LASIK surgery.
Oh, he's looking over. Hi. Hello.
Must have gotten a group rate.
I don't know, maybe they just moved here?
In a witness protection program.
Oh my god.
Lucky guess.
Oh my god, I forgot the coffee. Oh, I didn't buy coffee. We have no coffee.
Why do we need coffee?
She's a social worker, Paul. She works for the state. She's going to want coffee. No. Take Morgan home, change his shirt, put the flowers in our nice vase. Not your mother's. It leaks. Hurry, hurry.
All right, come on, Morgan, let's go. We got a date with the state. Morgan, come on, let's go, now.
Come, lad. Let's pray for His Majesty's soul. We know how much he means to you. Peter, where are you?
Morgan, come on. So I read last night that the excess of neurons in the brains of kids with spectrum disorder can be so great that their brains actually weigh more than a neurotypical brain. The brain's like the walls of an old house, filled with disused wiring from earlier days. Now imagine if all those wires were left live and uncapped, so that this great cross-wired mass of electrical impulses poured in all at the same time. When these kids thrash and flap their arms about, it's to protect themselves. They're being shocked by their own senses.
A, B, C, D, U,
Hey, Morgan, you want to watch Thomas the Train?
A, B, C, D, E, U.
Morgan, if you keep jumping on the couch is going to break. And if the couch breaks, the social worker's going to have to sit on the floor, and if she has to sit on the floor, she's going to think Mommy and Daddy are crackheads. What did you say, Morgan? Morgan, why do you feel alone? Daddy's right here. Morgan, you're not alone. Morgan, I'm right here. I'm right here. Look at me. I'm not alone. I'm right here. Look.
What's going on?
He's having a meltdown.
Why?
I don't know. He can't stop screaming. He feels all alone.
Hey, he's not screaming. Paul,
Listen to him.
relax.
How am I supposed to relax? It's the first original sentence he said, and it's I feel all alone.
Will you please go in the other room?
Why are you talking to me like this?
We have someone coming over any minute. I don't want her walking into this.
Into what? Your life?
Will you please calm
This
down?
is it, Jennifer. And honestly, I don't give a damn about some social worker who's coming here to drink my coffee and judge me. I want to know why my kid feels all alone when I'm standing right here. Shit, and now he's smiling, which is really freaking me out.
He's not saying that, Paul. It's a lyric.
What?
From a song, Pastry All Day Long. It's a baking video.
How
for
do you
kids.
know that?
Because I've watched it with him a million times. Now, will you please go in the other room? You're making it worse. It's okay, sweet pea. Daddy's never seen that video. Yeah. Why are you acting like
It was
this?
scary, okay? It escalated, and I couldn't comfort him.
He's not the one who needs to be comforted.
Don't, Jennifer. I swear to God, don't.
Will you please take a walk or something? I'm sure this isn't the parent you want to present to a county social worker.
I think I'm allowed.
To have a tantrum? Sure, that ought to endear us to the disability assistance.
What? Whoa. Am I the only one here who resents having to do this? Having to ask the government to come take care of my kid because I can't handle whatever's going on in that room? Shit. Can a county social worker bathe him and teach him a word and make him smile? Because I sure as hell can't.
Paul, he wasn't
Look,
rejecting
if
you.
Mommy hadn't come in the nick of time...
When he gets like that, he is in his own world. He doesn't even know you're here.
Yeah, but you know what? Look, I am here. I am here.
Why are you suddenly expecting him to be someone he's not? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a fucking shred of evidence that I have some kind of control over my life, okay? Because right now, I have no idea how to get back to what I know.
Paul,
Oh,
I
right,
think
right,
that-
sorry. I forgot. You actually believe that buying some yellow house with a patch of lawn is going to solve all our problems. It's gonna fix whatever's happening here.
What is happening here? Your pride's wounded because we need a little help. Jesus, I am guessing that 90% of the families at that center have to apply.
This is not about money.
Then what? What is it about? Maybe what you resent is that I have joined you in some dark, hopeless place. That I am not convinced things are never going to get better for him. That's what's making you feel all alone, isn't it? You can't even say the A word without getting all crazed and defensive. Look, the way I see it, there are two problems here. Okay, there is Morgan's, and then there is the bullshit of having to hide how difficult this
Nobody's
is.
hiding.
Paul, you still haven't told your parents about his diagnosis.
So what? So they can feel helpless too?
I'm gonna make some coffee. You don't have to stick around. I'll fill out the paperwork, I'll answer the questions. I will charm every social worker in Oregon if it means that they can help our son. You can go to London.
I'm not going to London.
No, please go. Leave. Because I cannot take care of the both of you.
George, please.
Please what?
Show some sense of loss. Shed a tear. Turn your father's death into something other than an occasion of undiluted joy.
Have I shown you this medal? I received it after the battle of
Oh, God, yes, we know. We've seen your scars. What is the point of all these medals?
To remind my subjects that I'm a warrior king, not to be confused with that cowardly shitface I had in Papa.
What is it, Lady Swan?
Forgive me for interrupting at a time like this, Your Majesty. A letter's been delivered.
From?
The headmaster at Harrow.
Set out with the other notes of condolence.
I believe it contains more than his sympathy.
Have you read it?
Heavens, no. But
Go
the
on.
coachman who delivered it. It seems Peter has escaped.
What?
He raced off into the woods when he learned of his Majesty's demise.
Where is he now?
Probably rubbing his ass on a tree. Who cares? Good riddance to that monkey.
George.
It's a new regime, madam. We no longer have to humor a deranged monarch or concern ourselves with his whores or silly pets.
I I want him found.
The wild boy.
I don't care if they have to enlist every student to band across the countryside. They are to track him down and bring Peter back here.
But if the king finds out
They are not to harm him. If there is so much as a bruise on that boy, I will punish the perpetrator myself.
But he's hardly inconspicuous. How will we keep His Majesty from knowing the wild boy is alive
His
and
name
well?
is Peter. Peter. And that is my affair. Go. Go!
What time is your plane?
I'm on standby for the 7:15. Stops in Chicago.
You plan on saying goodbye to Morgan?
Well, I was, but according to you, he doesn't even know I'm here. So what's the point? Hey, little guy. Daddy's got to go away for a little bit.
Honey, Daddy's trying to say goodbye to you.
Can I kiss you
Honey,
goodbye?
Can we say goodbye to Daddy?
You know what? Don't force him.
It's a lyric from a song.
Yeah, so you say. As long as one of us is certain, right?
I want him back.
I want him back.
I feel like you're young.